I advise students in their chapter 1, they tend to write a lot under the background. Okay, do not need to. Some part just move to literature review. It is a key concept that you want to highlight. It is important to ensure that this concept form the principal theme, the key themes, and also the sub-themes of your related to your study. Okay, to your topics of title. And remember, you have 5 keywords. So those keywords are the important words that recurrent, that would be like always mentioned. Okay, so that so your writing is also clear for others lah, because you mentioned that your study is focused on those keywords, key concept that you want to write about and also study about. Okay. Literature review is guided by your research question. Okay, mainly because you want to answer to the research questions that you want to find out some propping lah. You want to prop into details of the issues, and you want to, for example, some of you wanted to find out about how advertising communications can be used to communicate certain exclusive products, certain like very high-end products, exclusive products. So how normally media and also advertising community, okay, conduct that kind of projects, okay, to communicate exclusive brand, you know, like so you can download some research articles and write about it, and also read how this brand usually is portrayed in advertising, especially in video or maybe print media. So these are the aspects can be studied. For example, I just want to give you more example. And literature review contain description of any previous research. Okay, because you are not the first one. Okay, you are not the first one who wrote that, who have addressed that issues. How to present brand in an exclusive way, very high-end products, right? Targeted to the rich people or people with a class. So how do they portray that visual? Okay, through what kind of photography techniques? Okay, so those aspects, other people's experts have written that. So go and look for what they say, okay, what they say and how they carry out to their projects. Okay, and from the expert, you know, the advertisers, sometimes some company also they share their experience, how they came out with that, you know, clips, that video of that advertisement. So those can be cited because those are previous project done, previous creative projects done by them. They publish it in their magazine, or maybe the advertisers, the agency also interview the creative director from the agency, and he talked about his experience, how he produced that print media or that videos. So cite them and get the most out from the previous projects or previous research done by others. Okay, so you bring those notion into your thesis, into your literature review. Okay, so you can write them. Okay, and previous research has done many. There are a lot of literature. That's why some scholars say writing literature review is the most important part. Okay, most important part in our research. Okay. So literature will be very important. Okay? If you have not done enough on literature review, it means that you are not building up your resources, your resource of that domain area to be the expert, okay? Expert of that area. So literature review is to locate current research, okay, or the study in the context of the knowledge that already exists in the field. So it becomes a guide of idea that surround you and as you conduct your research. So it gives you more ideas and more thoughts. Okay. And literature review is a synthesis of the literature. Usually we would say literature review is a literature synthesis. Literature synthesis. So I will go in depth into that for a lecture later. Today's lecture will be writing literature synthesis. Okay, writing literature synthesis. And normally we write it in chapter 2, how to write this literature synthesis. Okay, we synthesize literature that we have selected or shortlisted, and then how we write about it. Usually it requires your reading skills as well. Okay, many students did not acquire like reading skills. Actually, reading is also very important. Okay, so you read critically. So how do you read critically? How? You annotate in your PDF file, right? And some of you think Sharifah mentioned skim through. Yes, skimming to have the initial, read through, take a look on every section, key sections, especially on their headings, their subheadings as well. So quickly read. Okay, and then also read their abstract, okay, abstract or their executive summary. And then you highlight, use highlighter in your PDF reader, right? Highlighter can highlight. Okay, if you are using Mendeley, I strongly encourage bibliography software to assist you. Mendeley, so Mendeley can even help you to highlight. They have the highlighter. Okay, when you read, can highlight. In Mendeley, you can put notes also for this particular, let's say, magazine articles, writing about a report of a print advertiser, that how they come up with that, right? They write about it, their photos technique, and then what about the lighting aspect? They write about it. Okay, so your notes, right, have to annotate, write the key points that this part has mentioned. And if certain quotes you really like, you also can highlight it and also put in your notes. Okay, so in the later stage, you can read your notes again for these magazine articles. The notes, what is my thought when I read this? So those are important. So reading, skimming, all these are very important. Okay, and then after that, you can start to, once you read a lot, of course you must read a lot. So I discovered that some students still not looking for references. Okay, your resources. Okay, to become a knowledgeable researcher. So your library, your own library must have many PDF files, quite a lot of resources that you want to read, related one, and also updated one. Okay, for us, we prefer our students also to look for within the 5 years period of time of the latest trends or latest technique, maybe the lighting techniques or maybe the editing techniques. So the latest one, especially in creative multimedia. So some latest techniques, especially certain tools, maybe there are some, automated tools or maybe graphic tools that can be used. Fundamentally, there are also some important principles. That one is fine. Some seminal or maybe important theories, principles, kind of articles. Okay, for example, like principles of animation. So it is always there and it is always important. So it can be cited, no problem. So reading, very important. So once you have all these resources, you can try to organize your review in the connected ideas. So this will be explained later. So in writing your chapter 2, you should have already have some clear thought, your thought, your objective, research question, what you are trying to look for, answers, your research question, what question you ask. So you already roughly know, have a clear thought about your research proposal already, and then reading, and you have your resources, and then you got to read them, engage with your reading text, and then skill on summarization. Okay, just now reading, you need summary. Yeah, many students, even us also, we are needing to learn about summarization skills. And then sometimes we also call it as paraphrasing it. Paraphrase it. We catch their main meaning and then we write it in our own words. Okay, that is paraphrase. For example, like this sentence, if you read, right? So the key notion is actually to say that we must write a summary. Okay, I would say my paraphrasing will be the author mentioned about writing a summary based on the key ideas, a summary based on the ideas extracting from some existing document or articles. So this is a way that you paraphrase. You make some changes. You don't copy paste exactly the same like this paragraph. Okay. So sometimes when you read, you have to just don't take bulat, that copy and paste like exactly the same of their words, but you get this idea. Oh, this person say writing a summary, writing a summary, and the skills of acquiring how to write a summary of the main idea taken from some articles are important. Okay? It is one of the important skills in writing literature review. Okay. So that is a key point that you can paraphrase and summarize it. Okay. So in your literature review later, when you write chapter 2, you must do this. Okay. After that, don't always use. You can always cite any references. Okay. References to get confidence on apa citing, how to cite. So I give you this one. This one I shared before. So you can view it again at your time, because it's involved some technicality, how to arrange your text and how to put in parentheses, of your citation. So how to put in the names, only surname in your in-text citation. Their initial, say my name Ku. I wrote one articles and you want to cite my articles. You just put my surname, Ku, And then A dot C dot is not necessary lah in the in-text. Like this person, David Taylor. So I want to cite him. So I will write, usually I will write lah. So after your sentence, right? Let's say after your sentence, and then you write Taylor, surname, Taylor, say, let's say, I think he published quite some time, 2009, and then put a full stop. Which means these are the things he said, and you write Taylor. So I want to ask, do you need to write D dots? Class, do you need to write D dots? So D dot no need, need lah in your in-text. This one we call it as in-text citation. Okay. So it becomes like that. Let's say it has more authors, up to 5. Up to 5, we list all the surname. Okay, up to 5. If more than 5, so 6, 7, 8 authors, usually we will put like that. We put Taylor's, say Taylor's right together with his 7 colleagues. So usually ETAL dot comma like that. So we will write like this. Can I think for undergraduate, when you want to cite that, Taylor's and his colleagues, his group of the research group, so they write like this. Et al. Et al is a Greek word. It means the others. Dan lain-lainnya. Okay, the others are et al. And then put a full stop here. Notice that et al, a full stop, because it is a short acronyms. Okay, and then only put a comma. And then some students, they don't have a sense of basic English syntax or writing syntax. Some students do like that without a space. So for me, I'm very sensitive. If I see like this, I'm not happy. We prefer consistency throughout your own chapters, in your final dissertation. So after that, of course, literature review cannot be like chapter 1 to have certain required section. So far, literature review is mainly related to what your topics is all about. Okay, so usually we give key themes, the first keywords. Okay, and you also give some thoughts about in what way that the flow can bring the audience or the readers understand better in terms of your synthesis of your literature. So which concept or which key theme to be presented first? Okay, make sure the flow is justified, logical. Okay, usually if I do this, I still prefer to write about current scenario, about like nowadays, because we know technologies, ICT, for example, like hybrid learning, like because I want to write about the use of technologies in education research. I want to do a literature about this, and then I want to carry out a study about how higher education institutions has changed. Okay, has changed in terms of the delivery of their education. Okay, in their formal educations, in their business or in teaching and learning domain, how higher education has changed or has adapted to this and to these changes due to prolonged pandemic situation. So I want to do a research on that. So I will start my literature by saying that I think I have to say pandemic first to give a better flow. Pandemic first. Prolong since 2019, right, up to now. So give a little pointers on that, and then bring in the dates, okay, a little background. No need to write a lot because a lot of people also knows pandemic. So you don't write a lot until it takes so much of your space. So you need to have a balance. Okay, if you were to write a pandemic situation, wow, since 2019 that Wuhan and then after that you write about 2020 Malaysia MCO, wow, right, and then never ending. So that take a lot of spaces. Meanwhile, my study, I want to look into higher education delivery. So I have to put second part of my review lah. Maybe the second part I want to look into the changes of the delivery of higher education. So that part I have to do some review on that. What is the media or maybe university website, or maybe somebody have written that, so I want to cite that person. A lot of research articles came out in these topics. Say Prof. Morali has written something, so I can cite Morali, say what about the delivery should be hybrid mode, okay, hybrid mode, and then integrating what lah. So something happened there. So second part I will write about changes or maybe observations of the current practice of the delivery of education in higher education. So that part. And then after that, of course, I will do write more. And then at the end, actually, you will find some gaps. Okay, usually we write literature synthesis, right, or literature review. At the end, the purpose lah, okay, for our practice, at the end if you all can, you try to identify an area which is related to your research questions that is able to be strengthened, the kind of gaps in the body of the knowledge on this area. So when I write, right, so I will also find some justification or maybe some literature to say that the way forward in terms of the education delivery so far is pretty much uncertain, right? Uncertain, and many higher education are still not adopting certain best practices guides. So I will mention that lah. Very uncertain, keep changing, of the delivery mode. Sometimes has to be face-to-face, and then sometimes announcement come when COVID cases happened, let's say lah, in the campus, and then it become online. So there is no, I will try lah, my literature, I want to say, because my research question is to ask the question, what is the delivery mode of higher education in delivering their teaching and learning? And then I probably will ask what would be the best practice or the best guidance of higher education delivery mode or guideline to the higher education institution, because I want to propose some best practice. So I get this idea, I get from different experts, okay, in this area. So I would say that at the end, I would say I try to say this. Usually this section can sum up the above reviews, okay, and then also justify. Also, I want to try to justify the current research gap. I would say that there is there are minimal or maybe limited, okay, principles or guidelines for higher education delivery, okay, in the current uncertain era. So sometimes keep changing things like that. So I will try to say there is a lack of literature or lack of study conducted in that area. So usually our practice is like that for literature review. Okay, at the end we will try to justify our research gap. These are like some coverage of what we are looking for. Usually we want to have your clarity, very clear that you write, the flow of the thoughts also quite logical, and you have your synthesis, and you also put in your voice in terms of your literature. Okay, you still have to mention about your voices. Okay, and then citation need to provide. So you are required to provide references.